Well, hello and welcome to Weekly Game Night 2024 wrap-up. How was this year in board games for you? Good? I hope so. With so many games published, I bet everyone found plenty of titles they enjoyed, but what are the top titles? So here is my list of top 10 games I enjoyed most in this year. Although I tried to keep it to 2024 strictly, there will be a case or two where the game is not from this year, but I played it this year, like that one campaign game at second spot or that one 10-minute gem at spot number 5. Before we start, hit that like button, subscribe and drop a comment letting me know what is your top game of 2024. Alright, without wasting any time, let's jump right into the list with place number 10. We kick off this list with a small lightweight game that tells our story precisely Battle of Intelligences in 1943. Operation Barclay by Salt and Pepper lands at 10th place of my top 10. This publisher is known for creating small, nicely designed games. Think Witchcraft, Thinkstead or my beloved The Hunt. If you are not familiar, it's time to do your homework, but let's get back to Operation Barclay. Operation Barclay is a two-player game where one player takes control of British LCS, trying to keep the plans for the Allied invasion of Southern Europe hidden. The other player leads Abwehr, attempting to guess where the invasion is planned by deciphering 2 of 5 possible directions. So how do you do it? By engaging in a poker-like game with a twist, you will use special card abilities, 5 suits, and build your hands for future plays. So the game involves betting on whether you or your opponent will win the round. The British reward is staying concealed, while the Germans work towards unveiling tokens and finally guessing the attack direction. Operation Barclay is fast, fun, and tells a story of a lesser-known World War II front. Although the mechanics may feel a bit detached from the team, that might actually be a good thing if you are playing with someone who isn't a history aficionado. One thing I need to mention here is the graphic design by Meeple Foundry. Absolutely fantastic work. I totally dig that style. So here is Operation Barclay at place number 10. Next up, let's dive into a charming and cozy adventure, Explorers of Navoria by Dranda Games. Imagine Ruth walking into a candy shop. That's how this game looks, but the gameplay, it feels more like you are exploring every corner of that candy shop. You see, in the magical land of Navoria, strange new continents have emerged from the sea, and of course, you and the other players are here to explore them. So, in the game, you will take actions by drawing tokens from a bag, build your tableau, collect sets of cards, and explore the maps. And what's really nice is how the designer has hidden just enough paths to victory within such simple gameplay, ensuring that every session feels unique. I've had my eyes on this one since its early days at UKG, when it was still presented under its Chinese title, and it did not disappoint. For me, this is a near-perfect family game, engaging gameplay packed neatly into 60 minutes with almost no downtime and a wonderfully cozy atmosphere. Ladies and gentlemen, Explorers of Navoria at place number 9. So we smoothly change the mood and the weight with The Other Side of the Hill by NAC Wargames at 8th place. I wasn't backing it initially, but I grabbed this game quite out of blue at Essen, and boy was that a good call. In The Other Side of the Hill, you lead German High Command, taking on roles such as Head of Production, Operations or Personnel, and even the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, all with overlapping competencies, just like in real life, where Hitler's minions often plotted against each other. So, you will send your generals to the front lines, manage production, and do your best to avoid losing the war. Points are awarded for these efforts. The game offers both competitive and cooperative modes. In cooperative mode, all players work together to achieve the best outcome before the scenario ends, trying to maximize victory points. But the fun truly begins in the competitive mode, where players work towards the best solution for themselves. It's not uncommon to see players sending others' generals to fronts where they know shit is going to hit the fan, or reinforcing fronts led by their own generals. It's kind of a like John Company the board game, where you can play for the company good or you can tear it apart. This one might be even called more of a gaming experience than a game itself, as even though it has tons of rules and two rulebooks, when you play it, you have this overwhelming feeling of you inevitably losing the war and tearing your armies apart, which by the way is nicely done as you have your own units, but it seems like allies have their units unlimited. This is how it may look like from the perspective of Germany HQ back in 1944 or 45. Anyways, highly recommended, but only for fans of heavy board games or histories buffs. At spot number 7, we have the worker placement / tableau builder of the year, Unconscious Mind by Fantasia Games. You see, there are companies where as soon as you see their games, you know it's their baby, and Fantasia Games is definitely one of them. After the success of Endless Winter, they have continued to strive for top-notch quality, and Unconscious Mind is no exception. It's absolutely gorgeous, with its stunning artwork, intricate print techniques, and a mix of miniatures and meeples. It immediately transports us to 19th century Vienna, a realm of dreams, or more precisely, interpreting the dreams. So, in the game, you take on the role of a therapist helping patients heal from trauma in a true Freudian style using conversation and catharsis. While I do feel the team could integrate a bit more deeply with the mechanics, Unconscious Mind is still a delight for any fan of worker placement games, and that game box fitting all the content from the campaign, mwah, pure poetry. Claiming 6th spot on this list is the long-awaited spiritual successor to my beloved Dwellings of Eldervale, Andromeda's Edge. Same designer, different publisher. It's not the last time you're gonna hear this in this top 10. Andromeda's Edge has taken the core of Dwellings of Eldervale mechanics and added few clever new tricks, you know, some changes here and there, and we've got pretty amazing game. In Andromeda's Edge, you lead a faction striving to build a new civilization on the galaxy's edge. You will send out ships to perform actions, gather resources, and battle enemies. As you expand, you will build your tableau, crafting an engine that generates more resources and possibilities for future rounds. And let me tell you, this game has some serious depth. Each session allows you to build a unique engine and chase victory points in completely different ways. It's pure fun. The only reason it lands here in my ranking is simple. I know this game is something big, but I haven't had the chance to play it enough yet to fully grasp its potential. That said, I was impressed enough to go on the hunt for my own copy. Fun fact, I actually skipped backing this game on Kickstarter or GameFound because I wasn't sold on the looks. But I have to say, even though the usability isn't perfect, quality of some components could be better, but the golden miniatures, my oh my, I freaking love them. Just stunning. If you are up for some quick, super intensive gaming action that can be wrapped up in about 10 minutes, Lightspeed Arena by Tablescope is where it's at. This game isn't even out yet, but every time I visit board game shows like Essen or UKG, I play it and it's super fun every single time. Especially that authors have some nice boosting juices hidden under the table. Na zdrowie! In Lightspeed Arena, you place your ships pointing the lasers at other players' ships. The winner is the one who scores the most hits. But why is it so much fun? Because this game comes with an app. Yeah, I know games with apps and blah blah blah, all of that, but hear me out. The app in Lightspeed Arena gives players just a few seconds to place their ships, then it scans the table and creates animations of shooting ships, takes care of order, counts all the angles and see the shields. I mean, it's magic and pure chaos and fun every single time, especially when you see other players hit their own ships. If you are lucky enough to live or visit Wrocław, Poland, I know that Avaria Prądu, the best board game pub on this hemisphere, has a demo copy of this game. I encourage you to try it out, you can thank me later. Landing into the fourth spot on this list is an incredibly well executed Eurogame, one with a twist, or rather a twisting solar system. Let's give a warm welcome to SETI by Czech Games Edition. I was particularly excited to try this one because the minds behind Lost Ruins of Arnak, shout out to Min and Elven, were involved in its development. But you know what? I found so much more than I expected. In SETI, you take on the role of alien life-form researchers, you will build your tableau, send out probes, land on moons and planets, and ultimately aim to discover and make contact with extraterrestrial life. Two things really stand out about this game. First, the space theme. It's packed with scientific value, well aside from the aliens themselves, but hey, after this year's revelations, who knows? The rotating solar system is a fantastic mechanic with moons, comets and planetary objects constantly shifting. The cards, used for both actions and resources, feature stunning illustrations, and the fluff text adds charm by referencing real-life objects like satellites, telescopes, radars and research centers. Absolutely great stuff. Second, the simplicity of the rules. SETI delivers depth not through the rule complexity, but through the sheer possibilities the game offers. To me, that's the definition of a great Eurogame. Sure, at times it can feel overwhelming with so many options and paths to choose from, but when it clicks, it's incredibly rewarding. SETI is an absolute must-play for all Eurogame fans. Securing the third spot is the newest baby from the Hegemony creators, World Order. Although this game is not out yet, I still have the prototype, so this one makes it to the third spot of my top 10 games of 2024. World Order is a political strategy game where players battle for influence across the globe. You take control of one of the world's leading factions using a mix of influence cubes and armies to dominate the seven regions of the world. The key here, you do it all through action cards because yes, it's a deck builder too. What I truly love about World Order is the theme. It begins in 2010, making the world feel eerily familiar to what we know today, but it's not just the theme itself, it's how the game elegantly translates political relations, economy and influence into a streamlined system that anyone can learn in just 15 minutes. One standout aspect of World Order is the interaction. Unlike Hegemony, there is less table talk, but don't let that fool you, as every move your opponent makes can completely derail your plans. You had a plan for a round? Cool, now it's gone, plan again, time to rethink, regroup and adjust. I absolutely love it and I can't wait to see the final version when it arrives in 2025, hopefully. This one may not have been published in 2024, it's a game from 2023 actually, I picked it up at last year's Essen, but having played and completed the entire campaign this year, Nova Etas Renaissance by Ludus Magnus Studios stormed its way onto my list, claiming the second spot. Nova Etas Renaissance is an RPG campaign game with a huge storybook set in Renaissance Europe, spiced up with a not so small pinch of magic. It's a game in which up to 4 players go back and forth between missions played on the map that introduce tactical combat and city story phase in which you prepare for the next showdown and discover story. Right? The story, it's massive. The game features multiple endings shaped by your choices, yet surprisingly, you can wrap up the campaign in about 20-30 hours. But here's the catch. You won't get to play all the missions, outcomes from previous encounters unlock new paths, meaning your journey will differ from playthrough to playthrough. Add to that the wave of expansions coming in the second delivery, and I'm already eager to dive back in, and trust me, that's a rarity for me with campaign games. If you're a fan of campaign-based RPGs, you owe it to yourself to check out Nova Etas Renaissance. It offers satisfying hero development, a tons of content including optional side hunt missions, a digestible campaign length, and most importantly, it's a joy to play. Okay, and now let's see my number 1 game of 2024. Finally, we reach number 1. My favorite game of 2024 is Dune War for Arrakis by Simon. Whoa, this is some damn fine grand strategy game that is an incredible example of basing the game mechanics on a great book and retelling that story from the book with the game mechanics, if that makes sense. What is most important is that all the fans of Frank Herbert's Dune will be satisfied, trust me on this one. But it's also an example of how to improve and develop the initial concept. You see, this one is based on War of the Ring and designed by two of the three authors of War of the Ring. What they did here is they have taken the core concept and streamlined and adjusted the experience. Hence, Dune is faster paced, but also Simon did their homework too, and in truly Simon style brought in a host of components like strongholds, fancy tokens and custom elements, almost eliminating the need for third-party add-ons just like that. I haven't played Dune in a while since it feels like I've been painting the entire set for the last 3 months, which might be quite accurate, but damn, this one is worth it. What I can tell you that this one is great with 2 players but also in 2 versus 2 team play, even though it was a rough start for me as on the very first game I felt like dice ruled the world, but with each game I got to love the game. It's incredibly strategic with both sides having different victory conditions. Harkonnens aim to attack Fremen cities while Fremen rely on completing round objective. What can I say? It's amazing. Oh, and I can't wait to see everything they have added in this second campaign. Delivery is coming in Q1 2025. Yay! Okay, my number 1 game on the list, Dune War for Arrakis. Let's give it up to Dune War for Arrakis! Okay, this is it, my top 10 of 2024. Let me know in the comments how do you like it, or better yet, write me your own top 10. I'm super curious to see it, debate and find inspirations amongst the games I haven't played. Thanks for watching you all, and see you next year. Listen Algaif! Listen Algaif! Listen Algaif!